Hi, thanks for joining us today. This is Violet's studio. Some of us are still isolated in our homes, and I wanted to take these opportunities to really do some interviews with some of our team members. You get to hear my grandfather clock one out in the background. It times about every 15 minutes, so Tom hasn't shut it off for me, so you get to hear it chime in the background. So that beautiful always reminds me of church chimes out in the world. So thanks for joining me today for Violet's Corner. Today I have with me Richelle Kemper, our master restorational healer at the center. I love that big title, but more importantly, I love Richelle and her modalities that she offers. As a healer, I'm pretty particular on who I go to have my own healings done. And she's definitely the one I reach for first. So welcome, Miss Richelle. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, Miss Vialet, I'm so happy to be here with you. As always, we're such an amazing community, and you are such our fearless and beautiful leader.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You've been with me for a long time, almost from the very beginning. I think you started with me in 2017, 18, somewhere in there. So really early on. And I've got to see you grow, and I've had you in some of my classes and programs, and I've got to see you really expand and grow. And you're such a beautiful healer, and you hold such a sacred space. And that's what's really important to me. So talk to us a little bit about your spiritual journey. What led you down the path of spirituality, and how did you get to this point? Like, where did this all start for you?
Yeah, so, well, I can't thank you enough for even incorporating me in Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. It has been such a gift to be around the people in our community, and I've really felt like I've blossomed, both with your direction and being able to be around, our 60 other practitioners and all of us doing something different. That's just been amazing. And I've learned so much that way also. So I started on my path when we moved here to Denver. And so what I've kind of learned over time is I'm in like what they call the third wave of the awakening. We've had the first wave of people that were awake when they were children, and they had this wonderful support team, right, that kept their gifts open. Such beautiful readers and healers themselves. And then we had the second wave that happened about in 2012, where people started looking around and going, oh, I think there's more to it. I think there's more to life than what we've been taught. And then I came to the third wave, which was in 2016. And I was part of a wave where we were a little bit older, needed to kind of experience a little bit of life. And then we realized, like, oh, it's time to turn back on our gifts again. Though they never went away, we just needed to turn them on a little bit more. And that is when I truly found that I was a healer, being able to channel the energy from divine source and anchor it into the beautiful people that I work with.
I love that. I love that. You have so many beautiful gifts. Not only do you channel these divine beings, but I love your grid working as well. So talk to me about channeling and what brought you into that and how that's grown for you. And then I'd love to learn a little bit more about your grid working that you do for Gaia and for people in your healing sessions.
Yeah, it's so interesting how everything works together when you talk about the channeling. So you channel the energy when you're working with somebody's energetic body, but you can also channel the energy when you are anchoring in light into trees, plants, rocks, waterways, all of Gaia's beautiful children. We're not her only children, and powering those up. So when you power up your trees, your plants, your rocks, your waterways, in even your own communities, that energy is seeping down into the grid lines of Gaia. So as she ascends, she needs more energy, and we're able to help her with that because we are channeling. And that's what I teach, is teaching people to channel the beautiful source energy to power those up, powers up the grid, and then it helps everybody with our ascension, right? Getting out of that thick denseness that we have been living in and moving into more of a lightness, and more of a divine, beautiful feminine energy, which has been so lovely. So the grid lines of Earth are very much like the grid lines I see around people, right? It looks like an Excel grid sheet to me. So these little boxes, and that's what the grid lines of Earth look like too. And in each intersection of a box, there is a node. And it's the node that we are powering up. And so if you were think of it like a little firefly, and to turn on the firefly, and then that connects all of the lines to make the grid power back up again. And so just like in Excel, when something gets stuck, you blow a formula. The past lives can get stuck in there. All these things that loop in our head, things that happen in this life, mean things people say to us, that all kind of gets in the grid system. In the grid system of Mother Earth, you have war and trauma and all sorts of stuff that get stuck in the grid lines. And so that's what we're doing as light workers, is channeling this energy to push out the old and bring in the new. So it works both, working with just people and working with the grid lines of Mother Nature. And so I'll teach that over at the grid lines of Mother Nature, right over by where our facility is, at Hudson Gardens. So I'll be teaching that in June.
People love that. As soon as it gets warm and you start offering that, they love that, because you're able to take out beautiful gifts to give back to Mother Earth, like crystals and all kinds of fun stuff. But people get to be part of that whole ritual of giving her energy, not only from above, but also leaving gifts. And I hear them when they come back. What an amazing experience that is for them to be able to do that.
It is so fun. I'm so glad that you mentioned the crystals, because it is what you are so passionate about is all about ceremony. And so we bring that into this particular class of using the crystals. I love using like a beautiful rose quartz, a beautiful crystal of love. And so I teach to power that crystal up, set your intention, and then you're gifting it to the trees and the plants and the waterways to help power them up. Or we're using herbs. Each herb also has a beautiful metaphysical property. And so I'll give them a baggie of a rose or a thyme or a lavender, and they're also gifting that. There's a beautiful rose garden also at Hudson Gardens. And so it's super fun to be able to toss the extra herbs over there too.
That's awesome. It's just such an amazing experience. So I've had several healing sessions with you, and I found those to be amazing, because in our grid works, when you're working on us and doing a healing, you find all these cool gifts in there too that you talk about, that people might have in their grids, but they're in the wrong place. They're not able to come in for us, or you can actually put things within the grid. So talk to us a little bit about the gifts, because I love that part of your healing modality.
Right? So where there's dark, there's light. We all need a balance. And the gifts are definitely a beautiful light point. I think one of my favorites is I saw a crown that had been gifted by that person's soul family. And they had gifted it, but it was in kind of an awkward place. It was down by the left knee. And so when in a grid, you just move things. You move it, and if you put it above the crown here, then I'll open up like kind of like a little portal, right? And then they can drop it in when they're ready. So I can kind of feel around to see, like, are you ready to step into that energy? Because it's all energy, the energy of the crown, the energy of the divine. Or you're ready to step in and say, yes, I really do want to work closer with my soul family of what we said we were going to do here. So it can mean so many different things. It's what resonates with you when you put that crown on, and if you're ready.
I love that. I love that. I think that's so really cool. Something else that you offer people that people may not know about is they can come and just get a channeled session. So I've actually come to you even for specific people to see if you could connect and give messages or just be open to who wants to come in. You've given me so many beautiful channeled messages in the time that I've known you that I absolutely love those.
Well, you're one of my favorites to channel for because you have such amazing beings that come through. And they go, yes, we absolutely want to tell her something. We want to tell her how amazing that she is. So that is a lot of fun. And I never really know who is going to come through for a specific person that I'm sitting for. So that piece of it, I think, is just amazing. I know the very first time that I channeled, I had 5 come through in a row. So we started off with Archangel Michael, then we went to Archangel Raphael for some healing, and then we went to Yeshua, or Jesus as some people say, and then Mary Magdalene, and then my dog came in last.
I love that. I love that. But I love if you're open just to come here, who's standing trying to really give you a lot of information, and you're getting bits and pieces. Sometimes even for me as a reader, I'm getting information, but we always question ourselves. Okay, my emotions are attached to this. I really want to hear this. Is this really what I'm supposed to be hearing? So it's nice to go to someone else and not say anything and them confirm what you've been hearing. Okay, it's not just me. They're really telling me what I'm hearing. That's really cool to be able to do that and get some confirmation. Okay, thanks. That's what I needed to know, that it's not, I just don't want this so much that that's what I'm hearing.
That is a very good point, because I do remember sitting with somebody, and an Indian elder showed up, a lot of red in his headdress, and I was going, wow, I know this person that I'm sitting for just a little bit, but hardly anything. And it was like, Richelle, you saw it, you have to say something. And so I did, and gave the message and what I was seeing, and then we moved on to some others. And she did finally give, once we were talking about it, she goes, I knew you were for real when you started talking about the Indian. She said, if you could come to my house, it's full. It's absolutely full of Native American pieces.
It's important for us to remember that, because we don't know. Sometimes we're opening a door for them to really connect to the information and know it's for them. We get these crazy ideas, and I've done that too, where, okay, I'm seeing this pink glass slipper. Like, I have no idea why I'm telling you a pink glass slipper. And the person goes, oh, that's what my boyfriend gifted me last week. I wouldn't have known that, right? So, you know, when I was studying in the spiritual camp, and they're really big when they're developing your psychic gifts, because we all have them. It's a development process, and it's about practicing. The one thing they always hammered into us is just say what you're seeing. Just say what you're hearing. Don't question it. Don't filter it. Don't take it through your experience level. Just tell the person what you're seeing, what's coming through. And once you do that, you learn really quickly that it's important to do that, because you never know what they're getting on the other, what they're getting themselves, and why that's so important for them to hear that. So I just think that's so critical when we're doing it.
Well, it's one of my favorite pieces to do. And even when I'm doing a healing, it's a silent healing, but at the end, I will tell them everything that happened, all the beings that came through. And I really, truly feel like it gives them hope that you're not alone, because it's multiple energies, multiple beings that come through, your power animal, your color that you're using at the time, your archangel. And these are all energies. If they step forward, like, I feel like that means let's work together. Come on, let's do something. This is what we came here to do. And it gives them some suggestions on how to step forward.
Well, I love that. I love that. Well, you have a new class that you're fixing to offer. Fixing, you can tell them from the South. Fixing, you're fixing to offer on chakras. And so talk to us a little bit about what that class is about and what you're offering in those.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We're going to be doing a class starting in June, and it is all about the upper chakras. So when I work with people, I tell them we are all about upgrading your energy body. So, and we've been working with the 7 main chakras that we talk about. But after that big energy shift that I talked about in 2012, we now have access to 8 through 12. And that is what we're going to be talking about. So when I'll just give you a little tidbit when we talk about 8. So you have your crown chakra. If you were to go to the back and maybe up about an inch, that is your causal chakra. And that is going to be, and you know I'm going to love this part, this is where you start to have your connection with your unicorns and your dragons and be able to step into that energy. And how to work with them more, because they're very magical. They're now coming back in. I truly believe we all have a dragon to work with. We all have our unicorn to work with. It's coming back into the awareness and then using that causal chakra in order to make that connection stronger. Like, what are we going to do together? There's a magic there.
There really is. And I think it's really awesome. So here's my next question. If we're not able to meet in person, are you going to be able to offer those virtually, number one? And number two, I know it's a series. Do I have to take all of them? Can I jump in at any time? So share a little bit of that, because I'm very curious about that as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the introduction next Wednesday between 7 and 8. You can find that on our page, Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, under Richelle Kemper. We're doing chakras 8 through 12. So the first intro will be via Zoom. It's an hour. I'll just talk briefly about what we're going to be doing. I've set the class to be every 2 weeks. So we'll start with the first chakra, number 8, and then I want you to sit with that and work with it for 2 weeks. Then we'll go to the next one. So yes, if you are only feeling called to work with one or you can't come to another, that's perfectly fine. Or come to the whole series. It is broken down on our page to purchase one or purchase them as a package. There's a discount for the package. Virtually, we will do it virtually. I haven't quite figured out how we're going to do that. I have things to send, which you have done a fabulous job of your classes. If they need something, then you'll send boxes, because you're going to get it's either going to be a temporary tattoo or it's going to be a transparency of the new chakra, what it looks like, so that you can place it on your body and be able to use it. So I would need to be able to get that. Your crystal that is associated with that chakra. So there's a few pieces to it. And of course, your little booklet that you'll work with.
I love that. Yeah. It sounds like so much fun. But you never know in this environment, if we're going to be able to gather or not. So having that ability to kind of flex and be able to do that. Yes, I've been sending boxes to students, like boxes and stuff to students. My living room and dining room is full right now of 21 boxes for the Sacred Priesthood group. So sending all this stuff out. So yeah, that would be awesome. It sounds amazing. Our chakras are so important. I think we take for granted that we have them and we don't really work with them as much as we really should. So I think that'll be a powerful class for people to be able to step in. I'm really excited to see how that grows and expands, and hopefully you'll continue offering it so people can come back and take it again and again. I think that would be awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. So how do people get a hold of you if they'd like to find out more about what you offer, what you do, your classes? What's the easiest way for them to connect with you, to be able to schedule or just chat with you about some of the beautiful things that you offer?
Yeah, so I have a couple of different ways. One, since they're already at your page, you have built out a beautiful website for all of us where you have put our name and our information and what we provide. My number is on there. My page is www.bestrongandconfident.com. So BE and then strong, STRONG, spell out and A-N-D, confident, CONFINDENT.com. That's my page. You can schedule there. My phone number is there. And any way you want to reach out is awesome. I'm super excited to be working with people. I'm super excited to be working with you. And thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We have your class, your chakra class listed under classes. And so the first two I know are out there. I need to go back and add the links for the rest of them, but they're all out there so people can start scheduling. And we'll also have this interview up, sharing a little bit more about that class. For those of you watching, thanks so much for watching Violet's studio. We hope very soon we'll get to see you in person at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Believe you me, we all want to be back there and being able to see people again. But we hope you're being safe and you're staying at home and doing what you feel is right for you. So have an amazing day. Thank you, Miss Richelle, for stopping by.
Thank you, Miss Violet, for having me.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful soul. Can't recommend her enough. If you need healing, that's the person to really go to. Does an amazing, beautiful job. So thank you so much. Have a great day, folks. All right, my lady, we'll stop.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Come experience a difference at Discover.